Goldie Hawn's story begins far from Hollywood lights in a modest home in Tacoma Park, Maryland. Music filled the house, often carried by the sound of her father's saxophone drifting through the walls after long nights of performing in local clubs. Her mother believed deeply in discipline and enrolled Goldie in ballet classes when she was just 3 years old. Those studios became a second home, filled with mirrors that reflected every movement and every mistake. Ballet teachers of that era were demanding, and young Goldie often felt she could never quite reach the standard they expected. While she learned determination and focus, she also carried a quiet feeling of not being good enough. Even as a child, she experienced nervousness before performances and moments of deep self-doubt. At school, she wasn't the star student or the most popular girl. She was simply the blonde girl who danced, trying to figure out where she truly belonged. Dreams that didn't fit the mold. As Goldie grew older, dance became more than a hobby. By her teenage years, she was determined to pursue it professionally. She attended American University for a short time, but most of her learning happened in dance studios and small theater productions around Washington, D.C. She auditioned constantly, hoping for a chance to prove herself, yet the responses were discouraging. Choreographers often told her she was too bubbly, too energetic, or simply didn't fit the traditional image they wanted. These rejections hurt, but they also began shaping her resilience. Instead of quitting, she kept showing up. Goldie slowly realized that success in creative fields rarely follows a straight path. Sometimes the qualities others see as weaknesses eventually become strengths. At that time, though, she was simply a young woman trying to pay rent, chasing opportunities, and wondering if her dreams would ever truly take shape. Learning confidence in unexpected places. In her late teens, Goldie accepted a job as a go-go dancer in a local club. It wasn't the artistic career she had imagined during her ballet training, but it helped her support herself. Performing on small platforms in lively clubs was very different from the structured elegance of ballet. The environment was louder, faster, and required a different kind of confidence. Over time, Goldie discovered something valuable there. She learned how to hold an audience's attention, how to connect with people watching her, and how to embrace her lively personality instead of hiding it. What once felt embarrassing gradually became a lesson in stage presence and self-belief. Those nights dancing to energetic music taught her how to perform freely and authentically. Without realizing it, she was developing the spark that would later make audiences fall in love with her on television and in films. A television opportunity that changed everything. By the late 1960s, Goldie was still juggling small jobs and auditions. Then she heard about an opportunity for dancers on the comedy variety show, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. The show was experimental and colorful, filled with fast-paced sketches and playful humor. During the audition, Goldie did something different. Instead of trying to appear perfectly polished like many dancers, she leaned into her natural warmth and humor. She laughed when she stumbled and allowed her personality to shine. The producers noticed her instantly. They saw someone who wasn't just performing steps, but connecting with the room. When the show premiered in 1968, it became a huge cultural sensation. Goldie appeared in bright costumes and playful sketches, often laughing and delivering quick one-liners. Audiences loved her cheerful presence. Suddenly, the girl who had struggled to get auditions became one of television's most recognizable new personalities, famous for the wrong reasons. While fame arrived quickly, it also came with a challenge. Many viewers saw Goldie only as a bubbly blonde character rather than a serious performer. The public adored her laughter and carefree image, but that perception sometimes overshadowed her abilities. Behind the scenes, she worked hard to study comedy timing and acting techniques from the talented cast around her. She watched experienced performers closely and absorbed everything she could. Goldie knew she had more to offer than a lighthearted television persona. Instead of arguing with critics or complaining about being underestimated, she quietly prepared herself for bigger opportunities. Her plan was simple: let the work speak for itself. She believed that if she found the right role, people would finally see the depth she knew she possessed. That determination pushed her toward the next chapter of her career, the film role that surprised everyone. That opportunity came when Goldie auditioned for the film Cactus Flower in 1969. Many people expected the same playful personality they saw on television, but Goldie arrived fully prepared as an actress. She studied the script carefully and worked to understand the emotions of the character she was portraying. When filming began, she held her own alongside respected actors like Walter Matthau and Ingrid Bergman. Critics were pleasantly surprised by her performance, praising her natural charm and heartfelt delivery. The biggest moment came in 1970 when she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. For a performer who had once been dismissed as simply a cheerful television personality, the recognition was extraordinary. Goldie had proven that she was more than a stereotype. She was a talented actress capable of bringing both humor and sincerity to the screen, taking control of her own career. Winning an Oscar didn't instantly change how Hollywood treated her. Many studios still offered similar lighthearted roles that repeated her earlier image. Goldie understood that long-term success meant making thoughtful choices. In 1980, she stepped into a new role behind the camera as the producer and star of the film Private Benjamin. At that time, female producers were rare in Hollywood, and the idea of leading such a project was considered bold. The film became a huge hit and earned her another Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actress. The success showed that she wasn't just a performer, but also a smart, creative decision-maker. Goldie had learned to shape her own opportunities rather than waiting for them to appear. It was a turning point that allowed her to remain relevant in an industry that often underestimated women's leadership. Balancing stardom and personal life. While her professional life thrived, Goldie's personal journey had its share of challenges. She experienced 2 early marriages that eventually ended, and she devoted much of her energy to raising her children, Oliver and Kate. Motherhood became an important part of her identity. Despite the pressures of fame, she worked to create a warm and supportive home environment for her family. Her children later followed creative careers of their own, with Kate Hudson becoming a well-known actress. Goldie often spoke about how parenting helped her stay grounded. Even during busy film schedules, she tried to keep family life a priority. The balance wasn't always easy, but those experiences shaped her understanding of what truly mattered beyond awards or box office numbers. A partnership that stood the test of time. In the early 1980s, while working on the film Swing Shift, Goldie reconnected with actor Kurt Russell. The two had briefly met years earlier, but now formed a strong bond. Their relationship developed naturally, built on mutual respect, humor, and support. They chose not to marry, believing that commitment didn't require a formal certificate. Instead, they focused on building a loving family together and raising their son Wyatt alongside Oliver and Kate. Over the decades, their partnership became one of Hollywood's most admired relationships. They supported each other's careers while maintaining a sense of normal life away from constant publicity. For Goldie, it was proof that meaningful relationships are built through everyday choices, kindness, and trust. A life defined by authenticity. Today, Goldie lives a quieter life, surrounded by family, grandchildren, and the peace she worked hard to find. She occasionally returns to acting, but chooses projects carefully, focusing on enjoyment rather than pressure. Instead of chasing youth, she embraces aging with honesty and warmth. She often speaks about self-acceptance and the importance of staying true to oneself. Looking back, Goldie's journey reveals more than a successful acting career. It shows how resilience, humor, and authenticity can shape a meaningful life. From ballet studios to television stages and award ceremonies, she remained determined to grow beyond expectations. Her story reminds us that sometimes the qualities people underestimate are the very ones that lead to lasting success.